Hello, my name is Rachel Bryan, and I'm a senior here at USF, majoring in communication and minoring in religious studies. I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida, and I'm actually a transfer student, which is why I ended up not going to the St. Petersburg campus. I started out at SPC, or St. Petersburg College, right after I graduated from high school. From there, I graduated with my associates in business management and then transferred to USF Tampa for my bachelor's in communication. Transferring to USF has been the best decision I could have ever made for myself, which of course we will dive a little bit deeper into more in the video. But the St. Petersburg campus actually didn't offer communication as a major, at least for a transfer student. So that is how, whether by fate or serendipity, I ended up here at the Tampa campus. And I do apologize, I am getting over quite a nasty cold, so you'll have to forgive me if I sound a little congested. I still have a little bit of a runny nose, but I'm feeling a lot better. A little bit about myself. I am an Advent cosplayer, so I build, create, and sew, and build all of my own cosplay from scratch. It's a wonderful creative outlet for me, and I typically will cosplay Star Wars characters or Disney princesses, and I have my lightsabers around my neck all the time. This is my favorite character, Ahsoka Tano. She carries these lightsabers. I look to my favorite characters like Ahsoka for inspiration, and of course, it's just a wonderful creative outlet for me. I also have the opportunity to take these cosplay designs and submit them to cosplay competitions, which I've been very fortunate to win several awards for my cosplays, and it's very, very rewarding for me as a lot of my hard work pays off, and it's a lot of fun. I really, really enjoy it. I'm also a runner, so I run in my free time, and I'm actually training myself for a full marathon, which for those of you who don't know is 26.2 miles, and I actually just signed up for my first Disney 5K, which I'm so excited for. I also really enjoy reading Star Wars books, of course, and I also really, really love to paint. So, why did I decide to run for homecoming royalty? Growing up, I struggled a lot with mental health issues, most notably depression and anxiety, as well as eating disorders. And when I was in middle school and high school, those mental health issues and insecurity issues really, really instilled a core belief that I was not good enough for anything. I did not believe that I deserved anything good that came my way, whether it be friendships, opportunities, events, or gifts even that people would give to me. I always felt like I fell short of whatever was being handed to me. It really was a true core belief, and that resulted in me surrounding myself with people and activities that weren't necessarily very good for my mental health or for my future. From the bottom of my heart, I just genuinely didn't think I deserved anything better. And it's not like I was a bad student. I made good grades and I had a relatively good attendance, and I definitely was a very smart kid growing up. And I was very well behaved. But so I don't really know where this belief came from, but regardless, it drove me away from many opportunities in my life, and, I really just did not think I was good enough or deserving enough for anything good. Coming to USF has really changed all of that for me. It might sound incredibly cliche, but I have sincerely never been happier than when I started going to USF. I have no words for how much being a USF student has changed everything for me. I have made a complete 180 on my life, and I never ever thought that I would be who I am today if it wasn't for USF. I credit USF for the young woman that I've become. And, now I'm speaking on stage as an orientation leader in front of 750 students every morning. I'm leading groups of 20 to 30 students. I'm engaging with an alumni engagement and speaking to all these USF dignitaries, and I just never thought I would ever be here. I missed out on a lot from these core beliefs in my mental health journey when I was younger, and I'm sort of looking at this experience running for homecoming royalty as almost like a symbolic step in the right direction. It's almost like a declaration of my newfound self-assurance and reclaiming who I wanted to be when I grew up. I watched my identical twin sister in middle school and high school do all the things that I did not think I was deserving of, going to homecoming being one of them. And I regret not doing all of those things when I was younger. So I'm looking at this opportunity, as like I said before, a symbolic step in the right direction. And, I recognize that being a part of homecoming royalty is a significant call to leadership. And thanks to all of the USF community engagement and leadership experience that I have, I really do feel well prepared for this role. And I want other students to look at me and see how transparent I am about my past. And I want them to understand that they too can do anything that they put their minds to, genuinely and sincerely, because like I said, I am at a loss for words for where I am now. And I want other students to understand that it's possible for them to do the same thing. I want to use my story to inspire other people. How has your involvement on campus personally impacted you? Well, I know I said earlier that coming to USF has changed everything for me, and I really could be no further from the truth. When I was 17, I started working at Starbucks, and it was a great job. I loved everything about Starbucks, but I think I loved it a little bit too much because I really threw myself into working. I was certainly a workaholic, for lack of better terms. As soon as I turned 18, I was 40 hours, and I did become the youngest shift manager in the district. But at what cost, though? It was a great experience, and I loved the job, but I was missing out on most of my youth. People say that high school are the best 4 years of your life. Well, I threw most of that away so I could sling frappuccinos. And it's not that I didn't find education unimportant, because, I was sometimes skipping class to go to work, or, I was in theater, and I dropped out of several of the lead roles that I had so I could pick up more hours at work. And I remember being a part of the ukulele club, and I dropped that. I didn't do any sports, any extracurricular, and it's not that that wasn't important to me, but making money at that young age, for some reason, was way more important. And, I really started to put school on the back burner, and I regret that. Like I said, I had an identical twin sister, and I watched her, do all the things. And I watched all of my friends go to the football games, go to homecoming, go to prom, attend all these events. And I was making coffee. And it's something that I still regret to this day in my young adult life. And coming to USF has been that second chance. That's the impact it's had on me. It's been that second chance that I've needed, or that I wanted so badly. And, I really do think I grabbed the bull by the horns, and I think that's why I've been so involved on campus. So, I dove head first, and I became incredibly involved, and everything that I've done here on campus has impacted me severely. And I genuinely did not think I could ever be this happy, ever. And thanks to USF, I am. And I'm very proud of myself. I could go on and on about what, how grateful I am for my USF experience. Genuinely, I could, but for the sake of time, we will move on. A leader that I look up to in my general life would be my mom. As cliche as it might sound, she has been a huge role model for me. She, is an incredibly hard worker. And, I think that's probably why I dove into Starbucks so heavily. But, and I know sometimes it can be not so good to be a hard worker, but, I watched my mom, she works in the school system at an elementary school, and I watched her really put all of her passion into what she does. And I really think that rubbed off on me because I can be very passionate in my work ethic as well. And I think that a lot of people actually look up to a trait like that, and they admire traits like that. So I really look up to my mom for that aspect. And she also raised me to be very humble, and she also raised me to be very confident. She raised me to be very outspoken. So I really credit her for everything that I've been able to do in my life so far. On campus, I want to credit Dr. Latoya Wider. She is the USF Ambassador Advisor and also works in student engagement at the USF Alumni Association. She's overall just a very kind-hearted woman, very empathetic, and my favorite thing about her is that she is a fantastic listener. I will just unprompted go into her office and sit down and rant, and sometimes it leads to me crying, and we call it tea time with Toya. And, to be a listener of that degree, to really sit down and to look at your students in the eyes and understand their problems and understand what they're going through means the world to us, and it means the world to me. So, I can only dream and hope to grow up to be a good listener like Dr. Latoya is. Now, something that wasn't reflected in my application that I would like to highlight, I really hated how I had to summarize my campus involvement in only 200 words. That was not fair. Jokes aside, I hope that my application reflected how highly involved I am on campus. Notably, some contributions would be being the president of USF Ambassadors, which is the #1 student leadership organization on campus, and being the secretary and treasurer for the Order of the Golden Brahmin, as well as being a 2023 orientation leader. All of those things have really helped shape who I am as a leader. Now, I will apologize. It looks like I did miss one question. What is your favorite USF tradition? I will go over that very briefly. I don't necessarily have a favorite tradition, but I do love the Traditions Keepers, which is an opportunity through the USF Alumni Association that allows you to gather 56 different traditions across all 3 campuses. Although I don't think there's any opportunities at Sarasota Manatee campus just yet, but across the Tampa and St. Pete campus, you can go and take pictures with different traditions or performing different traditions. And if you complete 56, because USF was founded in 1956, then you can walk at graduation with a TK medallion. So an example of some traditions would be taking a picture with the seal at the Marshall Student Center on the 1st floor, taking a picture with the grassy bull outside of the Marshall Student Center, catching a ride on the Bull Runner, or catching a ride with the SAFE team. Or similarly, on the St. Petersburg campus, taking a walk in Fenway Park is actually a tradition for Traditions Keepers, because that is right next door, of course, to the St. Pete campus. So I think that that's a fantastic way for students to participate in traditions from all campuses, and was something that I actually taught my students as an orientation leader. So I would just very briefly like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for this opportunity. I'm very, very grateful for it. I really appreciate your consideration, and I sincerely look forward to the next steps. And as always, if there's anything that you need from me, please don't hesitate to reach out. And of course, go Wolves! Thank you guys so much.